Starting in Tadasana with the feet a little bit apart here. So the feet hip width apart, so you have to make sure that your middle toes is pointing directly forwards, outer edges of the feet in line with one another, pressing down into the outer edges of the feet, roll the shoulders back and down. So we're just going to stretch the arms out in line with your shoulders and really stretch out into the fingertips. Take the weight back into the heels, lift the kneecaps, lift your thigh muscles. When we turn the arms, we're turning them at the root, at the shoulder, not just at the elbow or wrist joint. So turn the arms, stretch into the fingers, lift your chest. Now inhale, extend your arms up. Exhale through the nostrils, bring the hands together and bring them down into the prayer position again. And just stand and breathe for a moment. And now stretch the arms down, extend into your fingertips, take your arms up, stretch out into the fingers, let the shoulders drop away from the ears, really extend out, open in your chest. Turn the arms at the root and then inhale, stretch the arms up. Weight back into the heel bones, abdomen back towards the spine. You can breathe. Bring the hands down and bring the hands into the prayer position. So again, let the shoulders relax down, press the hands together, and let the breath flow. Stretch the arms down. We're going to go again. Extend the arms up, stretch into the fingers, rotate the arms, turn, inhale, bring the arms up, bring the hands together and bring them down into the Namaskar Asana. So the breath should be here across the collarbones and the shoulder blades starting to get a little more active, moving down your back ribs, and stretch the arms down. Good. So now we're going to stretch the arms up. So it's this action with the elbows in line with your shoulders, wrists in line with the elbows, fingers pointing upwards. So imagine that you're pressing out with your elbows, but you're not actually pressing out to anything. Keep the ribs back, keep the abdomen back, keep the weight back into the heels, and keep those feet hip width apart. So we're going to swing the arms back now. So in this action, we're just going to take the arms back. The elbows want to come out, and you may have to let the elbows come out a little, but we're not hunching the shoulders up towards the ears. We're just taking the elbows back and feeling those shoulder blades moving in towards the back spine, the upper back spine. Breathe, quite strong actions, and swing the arms back up again and release. Okay, well done. So we're going to come for Utkatasana, then Uttanasana. So Utkatasana, it's like you're sitting onto a chair. So we're going to bring the feet together for this one. Stretch the arms up and come into this action. So we'll do it together in a moment. I'm just demonstrating, and then we'll come up. And then we're going to take the feet apart. We're going to do that action again, Utkatasana. Then you're going to take your hands onto your shins, maybe they'll need to come onto your thighs for an Uttanasana action, forward bending action. Okay, so first of all, inner edges of the feet together, tailbone long, chest lifted. So we're getting this extension up with the breastbone, but don't pop your ribs forwards. Abdomen back to the spine, inhale. Stretch the arms up and bend your knees. So don't poke your bottom out. The tailbone points towards the floor and you get as much flexion as you can with your ankles. If you feel that your inner ankles are crushing together, you've got to press down more into your outer foot bones. Tailbone long, chest lifted, weight back into the heel bones. And now coming up. Good. So we're going to take the feet a little apart and do that again. Toes spreading, tailbone long, abdomen back, inhale, stretch up, bend your knees. So keep the outer edges of the feet pressing down, and now we're going to fold forwards. Now you might be able to take your hands to the floor, or to the shins or to the thighs, doesn't matter where they go, but you lift your sitting bones up and get a little bit of opening in the backs of the legs. Breathe, keep your kneecaps lifted, your thigh muscles lifted, firm in the fronts of the legs to protect the backs of the legs. We're going to come back into Utkatasana. Bend your knees, stretch your arms up and releasing. So we're going to do again. So extend down, inhale, arms up, bend your knees. So get as much flexion in the ankles as you can. So bend, 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 tailbone long, chest lifted, weight back into the heel bones, breathe through the nasal passages, ears between the arms, and now bend down, put your hands onto your shins or onto the floor and straighten your legs. Lift your sitting bones towards the ceiling, so it's as though the back buttock region is extending upwards. Okay, bend your knees again, come back into Utkatasana, chair pose, tailbone long, lift up and release. Well done. Okay, so just stand in Tadasana for a moment, inner edges of the feet together, and just have a quick look at the screen while I demonstrate the next pose, which is going to be Prasarita. So extended side angle pose. So the first way we're going to do, we're going to put the arm here. Oh, and we'll just take the arm up to start with. So we're going to put the hand here to move that knee back. And the second way of working, if you're able to, is we're going to take the hand down and the top arm across. But we don't want to collapse the chest when we're doing that. So if you're like this, then it's really better to rest your hand onto your thigh and keep the arm up if you need to. Okay, so if you have a knee, hip or back problem, you step your feet apart. Otherwise you can jump. Press into the outer edges of the feet, lift your chest, extend into your fingertips. Tailbone long, chest lifted. We'll turn the feet. So we're going to the right first of all. Left foot in slightly, 15 degrees. Whole of the right leg and foot turn out to 90 degrees. So you really have to get the rotation here in the front leg. Press firmly into the outer edge of that back foot, really press it down, and then bend to an angle and take your lower right arm onto your thigh. Take your top hand, your left hand onto your left hip. Now use your right hand, right arm to move your right knee towards the back of your mat. At the same time, roll your left shoulder up and back and see, can you make more of an angle with that front leg? Can you drop that front leg sitting bone? If your knee overshoots your ankle, that means that your stride is not wide enough, so you'll need to scoot your back foot back a little bit to get that action. And then we're stretching the top arm up. So the back leg remaining strong and firm. Inner thigh muscle to the thigh bone to the outer thigh muscle. Okay, breathing and then coming up. Turn the feet. We're going to go straight to the other side. So back foot in, whole of the left leg and foot turning out. So you really need to get this strong rotation on the front leg so that we can make the angle on that front leg. So bend into a square. Take your arm down. So you have to keep on remembering to let this sitting bone come down. It's actually both sitting bones are moving towards the floor. Use that elbow to move your knee back and use this hand on your hip to help you rotate your ribs in the opposite direction. Now your back leg has got to be strong and straight and pressing down into the outer edge of that back foot. And then stretch that top arm up. Breathe. So we have to really put effort into these poses at the beginning of our yoga practice. So in the end, Mr. Iyengar says, a pose becomes an effortless effort. It takes a little while to get to that point. Okay, and then coming up, turning the feet, and step or jump the feet back into the center. Stand in Tadasana, just let the breath steady and settle. Interlock the fingers behind, draw those fingers down. Now as you draw your fingers down, feel your breastbone lifting up in response, but don't let your thighs and your pelvis come forwards or your ribs. So the breastbone lifts towards the ceiling, ribs move back, thighs move back, pelvis moves back. All right, release the arms, and we're going to go again into Prasarita. So either you can repeat what we've just done with the arm onto the thigh, or you can take the hand down if that's where you are at the moment. Turn your feet. So left foot turns in, whole of the right leg and foot turn out. Get that rotation, don't get sloppy in the practice. Stretch into the fingertips. Really extend and open the chest, bend your front leg, and now either the hand comes onto the thigh or you take the hand to the floor. If you take your hand to the floor, all 5 fingers, so your thumb as well, has to be on the floor, and you can use that elbow to move the knee back. See, can you get more of an angle on that front leg? And then if you're able to, rotate the arm in its socket and take it over the ear. Back leg strong and straight. Front leg still rotating in that socket. Breathe through the nostrils. And then coming up. Turn the feet and we'll go straight to the other side. So we're going to the left now. Right foot in. Hold of the left leg and foot out. Turn. Strong and active in your back leg, bend. So either your lower arm is coming onto your thigh bone or your hand comes down. Top arm either comes up, or if you're able to turn the arm, you take the arm over the ear. So you've got to really feel every part of the body being involved in this. From the outer edge of the back foot, that flank, that side flank is extending right to the fingertips. Back leg very strong, inner thigh lifting up to the bone. Bone lifting up to the outer thigh. Front leg, really get that rotation. Maintain that rotation. Feel the opening in the groin. All right, and coming up out of the action. Well done. So step or jump. Back into the center. Interlock your fingers with the other little finger on the outside. So whatever feels less natural to go to, take your hands into that position. Pull on your hands, lift your chest and breathe. So get that breath into the body. We're looking for energy in the body, and the energy comes through the breath. So the asana teaches us an awful lot, the pose work, the asana work, and that's how we come into a greater understanding of yoga, is through this physical work of the body. Okay, and releasing down. We're going to come now for Prasarita Padottanasana, which is a forward bend with wide legs. So I'm going to just straighten my mat out because it's a little crooked. So I'll demonstrate the pose. We're having bricks to start with because we are moving those bricks forwards. So we're going to lift up, take the hands onto the bricks and stretch forwards on the bricks like that. So we're not coming with it, the legs are staying vertical as we stretch the arms forwards, and then we'll bring the bricks back, heel toe the feet in and come back into Tadasana. All right, so step or jump your feet wide. Make sure that the heels are in line with one another. So see where your heels are in relation to the back of your mat and make sure that they're in line with one another. Press down into the outer foot bones. So remember what I was saying in Parsvakonasana, the back leg, the inner thighs have to move to the thigh bone. So you've got to get this action of the inner thighs moving out, and then these frontal hip bones lift up. Tailbone, long and heavy. Now hinge forwards, keeping your frontal pelvic bones lifted. Hinge. Keep your legs very active. Don't let your legs go off to sleep. They have a tendency to just think, oh, our work is done. It's not. Okay. Stretch your arms forwards. So walk forwards with your bricks. If you don't have any bricks, just take your hands to the floor or onto a couple of foam pads if you have those. Extend forwards so that you're opening out in your armpits. Keep your legs strong, kneecaps lifted, inner thigh to thigh bone. So keep that action of the inner thigh muscle moving to the bone and the bones moving to the outer thighs. Keep your frontal pelvic bones lifted, don't let your belly drop to the floor, and then bring the bricks back. Heel toe your feet in and stand in Tadasana. So obviously, you know, if you haven't got bricks, you can always use the seat of a chair if that's more appropriate. That's fine too. So just let yourself steady and settle. We're going to come again into Prasarita Padottanasana. If you need your bricks, you can have your bricks, but for those who don't need the bricks, you can just take your hands to the floor. So step or jump, pressing down into the outer foot bones, lift your chest, lift through the fronts of the body, tailbone long and heavy, hinge forwards. We're just taking the hands down underneath the shoulders now, but you're going to flatten your palms. So when you flatten your palms, maybe you're on your bricks, maybe you're on the floor, but you've got to really push those inner legs to the outer legs. Lift the abdomen towards the spine, lift the frontal pelvic bones and weight the tailbone down. Imagine there was a 5 kilogram weight on your tailbone, pulling it down. So it's going to lengthen, and at the same time, you lengthen your breastbone forwards. So if you are able to just lift your hands and place them onto the frontal pelvic bones, then you do that. If that's difficult, because it's quite strong on the legs, then you can heel toe your feet together. So either hands onto the hips and lift up, or heel toeing the feet together and then come into Tadasana. So just let the breath steady and settle for a moment. So we're going to come into our Shavasana now. You're going to use a bolster underneath the knees, if you have one. If not, you can take your lower legs to the sofa or to the seat of the chair. Make sure that you're warm enough. You're going to lie in the center of your mat, have the palms of the hands facing the ceiling. Use something under your head if you need to, so a folded blanket is a good support to use underneath the head. Just don't let the head tip back. So if your upper back is stiff, then you certainly will need to use a support. Now turn your arms so that the palms face the ceiling. Have the arms slightly away from the chest, so not crammed in by your ribs, but nor are they out in line with your shoulders. They are just at a slight angle away from your chest. Let the fingertips curl in naturally towards the palms, and let the legs, the abdomen, the fingers, the facial features, everything releases. So I am going to leave you in this pose because we need to finish up the video now. Thank you very much for joining me today. Do make sure that you stay in your Shavasana for at least 3 minutes. It's been quite a strong practice today, so you need to have that relaxation at the end of the class. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Namaste.